Alright, good morning guys. It is my 10th day out on the water in search of summer Chinook on the upper Columbia. Most years I'd have at least 10 or 15 kings punched on my card by this time of year. I have none this year. I have absolutely none. In fact, my first fish was a wild fish that I caught, and since then I've lost 8 fish in a row. So it hasn't been hot, and I am not converting my bites into fish. Ooh, there's fish. Oh, he's off. Dang. That sucks. Every day I get opportunities. Every day doesn't happen. And it makes one confront their demons. So as many of you know, well, I guess there's 2 reasons I want to make this video. One is to show that, in fact, yeah, even I have, like any other angler, have periods where I'm just not catching fish. I struggle. Lose fish. Haven't changed anything that I have done in the past in terms of tactics where I would enjoy great success. I'm just not enjoying that success this year. But as many of you know, I am a statistician on the side. That is how I make part of my living. And ecology, so I specialize in statistics and ecology. And there's a foundational paper that was written in 1984, I think, by a guy named Stuart Wolbert. And he talks about, in fact, it's the most cited paper in ecology, I believe. And he talks a lot about experimental design. And for me, every time I come out here and go fishing, it's an experiment, right? Like, so I'm drawing up a hypothesis about where I think fish are holding and what's going to work in terms of action. And then I start manipulating that experiment when I'm out here and I'm not getting bit. I'll shift from, change my speed, change my depth, change my color, change the scent. We're constantly experimenting. That is essentially what fishing is all about, is constantly trying to determine what's going to draw that bite. But it also can get us into trouble. And there are 2 things that he talks about that can really mess up your interpretation of your data, which in this case would be bites or lack of bites. And that is demonic intrusion and non-demonic intrusion. Now, non-demonic intrusion, it all sounds really cool. Non-demonic intrusion is essentially just sometimes things happen by chance, right? So I haven't changed my hooks or how I configure my hooks. So the fact that I'm losing more fish makes me think that must be non-demonic intrusion. There's nothing I can identify that is actually contributing to me losing fish. And that's the worst one, right? Because there's really no explanation. It's just what we call bad luck, bad karma, a drought, whatever you want to call it, okay? But demonic intrusion, now that is something that I think a lot of anglers make mistakes with. What is demonic intrusion? And that is, it is essentially where we get out fishing and we think that it's this one thing that's causing us to get bit or not get bit, but it's actually something else that's just highly correlated with that is actually driving it. I think a really good example of this would be, let's say you're out trolling for salmon like I am today, and I keep getting hit on the turn on the inside rod. Well, the interpretation could be that they just want to see more erratic movement on the lure, right? So they're following, and then when you turn, they strike. Another interpretation might be is that because it's always on the inside rod, it actually could just be that they're deeper and that rod's dropping, right? Or it could be because that rod is on the inside, it slows down and they want a slower presentation. And so you need to pay attention to this. You can't just say, well, it's just the turns that are getting me the bites. In fact, it might be something correlated with the turns, and that is the speed or your depth. So ways you can answer these questions is to adjust your depth on your rods. Like try running a rod deeper, right? The other thing might be speed, like identified. So a slower speed might be catching them. So you want to try just trolling in a straightaway for a little bit with a slower speed and see if you can pick up those fish. The whole thing here is that we want to make sure that we correctly identify what is causing fish to bite, instead of getting hung up on something that's correlated with what's causing the fish to bite. I guess the end result might be the same, but I think as an angler it's better to learn exactly what it is that's going on. I think I see this a lot, especially in tackle. People will switch out different tackle or try different scents and enjoy success on that, and just immediately say it's because of that scent or it's because of that lure, when were they really replicating truly what they're doing before? I mean, the hardest thing to replicate, of course, is time, because you can't like go back to that same time and same place and re-experiment. So why does he call it demonic intrusion? I don't know. I think it's probably just a way to be cool and grab people's attention. But I think what he's intending for you to consider is that, a demon is there to trick you, to mess with your interpretation of the data and make you think one thing is the truth when in fact another is. And of course, for me, the most frustrating thing about this whole concept of experimentation when I'm out here and using the scientific method when I'm fishing is that it's very difficult to learn when you're not catching fish. In fact, it's what can you learn from a lack of success, right? There's just so many variables going on that you really start to lose your mind, especially when you're at least consistently catching or at least hooking fish but not landing them, but you're not enjoying great success. The only consolation I've had so far this year is that it's been very difficult for everybody else, but there are still a few anglers out here who are enjoying a much higher rate of success than I am, and seemingly doing exactly the same thing. And obviously that can't be entirely true, or else I'd be enjoying the same level of success. So yeah, you can start going down these rabbit holes where you start to doubt your tactics and techniques, and when you're changing all the time, you start to wonder if all that changing is actually what's hurting your success, and you really start to go cuckoo. Well, it's 9 o'clock. I've been trolling for 4 hours. No bites. I haven't even seen a net fly in 3 hours. So, haven't been able to shake my demon. Not sure what he looks like even, or what it is. I kind of imagine he looks like this. Or, actually, I think he drives a wake boat and looks like that. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Maybe change up to a different fishery for a while here and give kings a break, or maybe head to the west side and chase kings in Puget Sound or something. Get out of the smoke and heat. Until next time, fish smarter, not harder, and watch out for them demons. Bye, guys.